Have you ever opened your notebook during exam preparation and thought, did we even study this topic? Today I'm going to show you how to turn your notebook into a powerful study partner for mathematics. Taking notes is not just writing what the teacher says. It is a way to organize ideas, remember concepts, and prepare for the exams. It is making your notebook talk to you whenever you want it to, at your command. Now you can make your notebook talk to you. Let's see what are the things that the notebook can actually say. Hey, this formula should be memorized. Listen, the teacher is giving a tip, note it. Alert, don't make this mistake again. Hey, look, here is a tip. Keep an eye on it. This is how you think for this problem, you know? Remember that example? Use that to solve this problem. Hey, remember that formula? That is what you should apply here. Did you hear that? The teacher just told this is a common examination question. Did you note it down? High five. And knock knock. Read this question carefully. There is a change in units and blah 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 blah, etc. 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 The note can actually talk all these things to you if you maintain your notebook properly. And that is what we are going to see in this video further. Stay in the video. Let's see how to achieve this. Today in Ganitika, I am going to explain certain practices that you can follow in class for an efficient note-taking habit. You could be using a physical notebook with pen and pencil, or you could be using a notes-taking software like this. Whichever it is, you need these skills to make your new notes help you through your learning journey. So stay with us and watch this video until the end and see how your approach to learning improves. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe now and hit the notification icon so that you don't miss the latest videos that I'm posting in this channel. There are certain things before you start to take notes on a new unit in the class. Here are some of them. Always start a new topic on a new page. Before starting a new unit, leave 2 pages blank. These pages will collect formulas, tips, and connections to other topics. Now let's see how you start a new topic by leaving space for important information in different situations. If the previous unit ended halfway through a page like this, leave that remaining half page and start the title in the next page. Write the title of the unit on the top of the page and start the contents, probably the first example that your teacher is doing in the class, from the next page. However, if the previous unit ended at the end of the page like this, write the new title in the next page but leave the next 2 pages empty for the moment. And start the content here. Similarly, if the previous topic ended here, start writing the topic unit in the next page, leave the 2 pages blank and start the content from this page. So you are clear how you are going to start a new topic at the moment. So let's proceed. Always write the title of the unit clearly on top of the page. For example, exponents. This simple habit keeps your notebook organized. Later, when you revise, you can immediately locate the topic you need. What to do with the new pages you left blank? These pages will become your summary page for the entire unit. Divide them into 3 sections: formulas, tips, connections to other topics. Whenever you learn something important, add it here. During exam preparations, you won't need to flip through 20 pages. Everything important will be right here. Here are some examples for exponents units. Rules of exponents under formula section. Like this. Important tips that you learned during the lesson under tips section. And on other topics, concepts that can be connected to exponents such as logarithms, surds can be written here. Now you might ask, why should we even bother taking notes in class? After all, The teacher already explains everything. Well, here is the truth. Well-organized notes are extremely helpful during exam preparation and revision. In your notebook, you have a personalized summary. This helps you avoid the hassle of going back through the full recording or read the whole textbook. It's a collection of information from textbooks, classwork, and mistakes that happen during each lesson right from day one. Your brain forgets information much faster than you think. But when you write something with your own hands, the brain processes the information more deeply. Your notebook becomes a record of important ideas, a reminder of mistakes, a collection of exam tips, and a powerful tool for revision. In fact, during exam preparation, your notebook can bring back memories of entire lessons just by glancing through it. Your notes is indeed a friend in need. Your brain starts understanding concepts more efficiently since there is an organized information readily available all the time. A well-organized notes is a collection of lots of information delivered in a short time. This should help in breaking down those information into smaller, manageable chunks so that your brain will be happy to recall them quickly. So, what should you do for your notebook to talk to you? Let's see what it is. If your notebook should say, hey, this formula should be memorized, then you can actually use the formula section allocated for this in the beginning of every unit. Remember? You can write all the formulas neatly under this formula section so that your notebook will say, hey, this formula should be memorized for each unit. Teachers often give small hints while solving problems, but students forget them later. So, pay full attention in class. Whenever you hear a tip, write it in the tips section at the beginning of the unit. Tips could be what you should or shouldn't do while solving a problem, some important steps in the solution that you should never miss to show, or connection to past papers, and so on. You can even draw a small bubble beside it so it stands out like that. Asking questions during a class is a good habit. Do not hesitate. Ask and be sure you understand the teacher's reply. You will ask questions only if you have doubts. It is not a shame to have doubts. More the doubts, more the clarity that you get eventually on the topic. Getting a clear perception of the concept gives you more confidence. So you know where you go here when you pay full attention in the class. You gain a lot of confidence in your subject. Let's take an example for this statement that your notebook is going to say, alert, don't make this mistake again. Very, very important statement that you want your notebook to tell you every now and then. Let's take an example. Say you made a mistake in this question. Can you identify the mistake? Yes. Negative taken with a -4 should have been +4, but you wrote it as a -4. Why? After identifying this mistake, we usually add a line here and make it into a plus and go ahead with the question, right? This way we will never know that we have this habit of making silly errors like this. Instead, leave them as they are and make a note on it. Strike it neatly and rewrite the correct solution like this. Using icons is an added advantage, of course. It makes it more talkable, right? Of course, tips section will be useful for this, but you can also use bubbles. For example, while introducing a quadratic equation formula by your teacher, she would have told you that this is to be noted. Which is it? The division sign is for the whole of the numerator, not just for the square root side, right? So this is a quite common mistake that people make, and this is what your teacher would have told in the class, and you might make a note of this in a bubble like this near the formula. This is another way of making note of the tips in your notebook so that your notebooks can say, here is the tip, keep an eye on it. Okay, this is the problem and this is how you have to think for this Thinking process is very important in solving every single problem in mathematics. Keep an icon for this to show your thinking process, such as a brain like this, etc. Write down the process before you actually solve the problem. Let's say you need to solve this quadratic equation, right? So your brain should have some process before you start solving this question. Sketch the icon and create a mind map. It is either factorizable or not. If it is, then you will split it into factors and solve it, or you will use the quadratic formula for solving the equation. That's it. And this is the mind map. You have to make a note of this in your notebook so that your notebook can say this is how you think for this problem. And for this, link problems to earlier examples so you can quickly find them later. For that, you might either have to number the pages or clearly write the topic, subtopic, units, dates, etc. Apply the same procedure to solve the present problem that you have at hand now. So let's take an example. You have an example problem done in your classroom with your teacher. Say for example, you are finding the x value for which sin x is equal to half. And this is coming under the topic trigonometry under the unit special angles. And you solve this with your teacher and you have the full solution in your notebook like this. You can either make a bubble near the problem about the topic and the unit, or you can number the page so that it is on the 15th page, for example. When you have the actual question in the class, say for example you are supposed to find the theta where cos theta is square root of 3 over 2, you can refer back to the place where you had the similar example, which is example 3 under trigonometry special angles, or example 3 in page 15. So if you have a bubble of reference here, you can go back to the page, refer the question and find the corresponding answer, come back, solve the question and give the correct answer easily. And you have the reference bubbles there so that your notebook can tell you how to solve a problem, right? And now, the formulas. This directs you to the formula in the same unit for which you will see the formula section in the first 2 pages, right? You can also have the previous topics formulas written in the connection to other topics section like this. So the formulas could be either under the same unit or the previous unit's connected topics. So you could write the formulas in any place as per the unit. But you can also make a bubble to write the formula and the topic from which it was taken. For example, if you have a topic on bearing and you have a question given, and you have solved it in the class, but you want to know where it came from, right? So you need a reference. So you can mention that this is from chapter 3, sine and cosine rules, and you can even write the rules there, whichever rule you applied for this question, so that it will be having the record of the formula just near your solution, which is easy for you to revise later. Okay, did you hear that? The teacher just told this is a common exam question. If you have noted this down, high five to you. So this is a passing comment. Usually teachers tell this when they are solving a big problem on the board, saying that this is often repeated in the past papers. Make a note of this, and usually students overlook this. So let's take an example. Find the area under the curve between 0, x is equal to 0 and 2 for e power x. Sin x is the question, and your teacher mentions this. This is a commonly repeated question in the past papers. What will you do? You have to make an icon common for this in the beginning of your notebook. Exam type questions. For example, if you are a good artist, you can make a better icon, but I just made this. You can make an icon like this, and you can just put that icon here next to the question. So whenever you open the page and if you see this icon, you know that it is an exam type question, right? Next, hello, read the question carefully. There is a change in units. This is again very common mistakes that people make. They don't read the question properly. They don't read the instructions properly. So let's take an example for this. Let's see how this helps with the real example. A ribbon of length 20 meters is cut into smaller pieces of 10 centimeters each. How many pieces can be cut? Many students divide 20 by 10 and get the wrong answer, correct? But wait, the units are different. Meters must be converted to centimeters first. Your notebook reminder would say, check the units carefully. Another problem is that not reading the instructions carefully. Say you have a question and you have solved it, and you have left the answer in the form 2.45634 etc. Oops! You didn't read the instruction, but do not overwrite or strike it. Underline the part of the instruction that you have missed. Write the correct form, of course with an interesting icon there. In the end, your notebook is more than just pages filled with writing. It is your personal learning guide. Every formula, every mistakes, and every tip written by you becomes a memory stored in your brain. So, treat your notebook like a study partner that helps you a lot, that helps you in organizing your ideas, organize your notebook, add reminders, make it more lively, and most importantly, make it talk to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions on notes taking and maintaining your notebook, please leave that in the comment box below. I wish you all the best for the coming year. Good luck. Thanks for watching.